I care about the people and these communities, and it's my privilege to have worked with you for 16 years in a team spirit, not because this is what was required, but because the best is what you deserve.
My commitment is to go to Washington, if you're kind enough to re-elect me, and to say that in a wealthy country such as ours, we're going to be able to put people back to work.
It was pretty civilized today as Heckler and Frank spoke at a flea market in Somerset. But this race that started as a kind of referendum on the Reagan administration has become a referendum on the character of the two candidates. Mrs. Heckler has portrayed the rumpled, mild-mannered Barney Frank as, among other things, soft on crime and pornography, while voting for higher taxes and salaries for legislators. The attacks appear to have backfired and actually helped Barney Frank.
Mrs. Heckler was losing the debate on economic issues, which is what this issue, I think, really ought to be about. How do we put people back to work? How do we protect the garment industry from unfair imports? How do we see that taxpayers' dollars are well spent? She stopped even trying to talk about that. What she's instead done is talk about my legislative record, and that's legitimate, except she's distorted it so.
I have never told an untruth, and the record is true. He cannot say he did not do the things that he did or say the things that he did.
The Boston Herald, which is a Republican paper, the Boston Globe, a more liberal paper, Peter Lucas, who's a columnist, David Brudnoy, who's a commentator, the Wall Street Journal yesterday, they've all said Margaret Heckler is really distorting Barney Frank's record.
The statements that I've made about his record are totally documented and absolutely true, and now he would like to cry foul.
Barney Frank came from behind in this race, in which two congressional incumbents were redistricted into the same district. He has pulled even and possibly ahead. He says he's trying to keep the campaign on a higher plane than Mrs. Heckler.
I think I owe the voters a sensible discussion about how I think we can get people back to work without causing inflation, which I think we have to do by reducing the deficit and getting interest rates down. I want to get the housing industry stimulated again, and I've got specific proposals to do that. I want to protect American workers against unfair import competition. How do we get students back to work so that if we can get high technology to come here, we've got a workforce that's able to benefit them? Those are the important questions.
This race is a referendum on a record of public service, my 16 years, my leadership in the Congress for people, my caring, and effective results for them. I think that's the referendum.
One last question on
Both candidates say they could win if the election were held today. November 2nd, they find out for sure. In Somerset, Massachusetts, Brian Rooney, News Center 12.